Welcome to this episode of Chatting with Staxx. I'm your host, Bill Staxx, and today got a really good show for you guys. So you guys might have just seen the show with Sonny Grasso. Shout out to Sonny Grasso. I'm live right now, but I'm going to be playing an interview I did with Mike Marino. He did over 30 years in the feds, and he escaped. And he's going to tell us that story now. So without any further ado, hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Everett, what's up, man? Miles, how are you? Rah, what's good? Shout out to everyone that takes the time to watch this show. I appreciate all you guys. Got a lot of really good content coming. I just got done with an interview with Bobby Hitz. Shout out to Bobby Hitz out in Chicago. Some really good information. So let's get down to business. I'll be back. Welcome to this episode of Chatting with Staxx. I'm your host, Bill Staxx, and today I got Mike Marino.
How you doing, Bill?
How are you, Mike?
Great, man. So,
man. Thanks for joining me. I appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah.
So
I'm glad to be here.
You started posting content. You have a crazy story. You've been through a lot of things. You've been through the federal penitentiaries and all that stuff throughout the years, right?
Yeah, I spent 30 years. Yeah, I spent 30 years.
30 straight or?
Exactly. 29 years, 4 months, and 10 days to be exact.
That's a long time, man.
Well, the guy I was just interviewing on my show, on my new channel, he's been in for 56 years straight.
I've seen him on Lockup Raw and things like that.
Yeah, he's a crazy guy, man. I've known him for about 45 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about a situation on one of your stints, right? Or is this, well, you break it down, what you're going to.
All right, so what happened was me and my friend were living in Hollywood, California, West Hollywood, in a cheap fucking hotel. We were just like petty crooks at the time, you know what I mean? We were just, we were using drugs and this and that. And one thing led to another, and this guy named Hercules, a black dude, robbed my friend. And I decided I wanted to get even with him. For one thing, he stole half the money he stole from my friend was mine. And I just didn't like the way he did what he did, you know.
Was it a lot of money?
Yeah, it was about at that time it was like $600, you know. So I got a knife and I told my buddy, you know, like what I was going to do. I said, listen, we're going to kind of like, I'm going to tell him that there's something in the closet, and, you know, I'm going to pretend that it's yours, and I'm going to tell him that, you know, I'm setting you up for him to steal this from you. And when he comes in, we're going to stab him to death. Right. Anyway, we got him in there, and I just got ready to stab him, and he seen me out of peripheral vision, and he wanted to come up. And anyway, I caught him right here in the shoulder, and he came up trying to fight. He didn't know what to do, you know. Gary was right there. Gary didn't take advantage of the fact that the guy was wide open from the back. He was afraid to use his knife, I guess. And Hercules, I believe I told you that was the guy's name, right? He took off running. We didn't get him. You know. So with that, we became hot in LA. You know, it was reported to the police, and there was no way I could come back around there. So we ended up leaving LA, and we were hitchhiking across the country. We were going to Springfield, Missouri, which is where Gary lived at the time. And first guy we got a ride from. We we took off his, we robbed him and we took a gun away from him, kept his car, right?
Shit.
And as we went from California to Missouri, we robbed a lot of places along the way. We were like a little crime wave, a little, yeah, a little crime wave. We robbed a lot of things, stuff like that. We finally got caught in Springfield, Missouri, and they extradited us back to Albuquerque, New Mexico, because we had robbed a motel there and stole the people's car and kicked them out of the car in Texas. So that went across the state line, made it a federal crime, right?
Was it kidnapping?
Yeah, federal kidnapping, man. So to make a long story short, I got arrested for that, and we fought that case. And they said, "Listen, man, we'll drop all these other armed robberies and stuff if you just plead to the federal kidnapping case." And I did. They gave me 30 years with immediate parole eligibility. You know, in other words, they're saying, "Listen, we're giving you a lot of time, but we're letting the board decide how much you really need to do."
Yeah, but you could stay there for up to 30 years, or you could get out right away.
Well, yeah, yep. But I made it worse right away. So one day like 5 days after I got sentenced, I took a razor blade out of the razor and I scraped it on the floor until it was dull. And I wrapped it in a little bit of toilet paper and I swallowed it. I told the guys in the cell with me in a big tank we're in, I said, "Just call the cops and tell them that I'm trying to commit suicide, right?" So they got on the door and started pounding, and, "Hey, man, get this guy out of here, man. He swallowed a razor blade. He's trying to kill himself." So they came and they got me, right?
Yeah.
And I tried to pretend I was depressed. I just got 30 years, etc. And they took me down to the hospital, and they put me on an X-ray table, and they took some X-rays. Then they told them to take the shackles off my feet, right?
Yeah.
But when they did, I jumped up and ran like a motherfucker, and I got away. I was gone, man. I ended up, well, actually, it was right across the street from the University of New Mexico. I was in the University of New Mexico hospital right across the street from and I got over there and I was in the parking lot, and somebody gave me a ride, and I ended up somewhere else.
Did you have your jail clothes on at the time?
No, it was no, it was just wearing my regular. They didn't have jail outfits. Back in them days, I was wearing a pair of jeans and a t-shirt. It's kind of chilly too. It was that night, right? And I'm in a parking lot, man, and there was a Mexican wedding, right? And you know how they fix the cars up with streamers, balls, and all that stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it was one of them old '63 Chevys. This was in '74. So one of them old '63 Chevys, you could just turn it and you don't need a key. I took all the little bullshit off the car, right? And I took off. I drove in the car. And I drove maybe 10 miles or so. The fucking car ran out of gas. But no fucking money, no gas. I get out, I start hitchhiking. What can I do? Somebody picked me up. Right? And I told them, I made a story up, man. I said, I've been robbed, this and that. I didn't have somebody took my backpack. I didn't have anywhere to stay. Guy said, "You can stay at my house for the night." I think he was like a teacher at the University of New Mexico. So I said, all right, I slept there. Next morning, I called friends of mine, Baltimore, told them what happened. He flew into El Paso, and he came and picked me up. Drove me to El Paso and gave me some money. Make a long story short, I went to Tucson, Arizona. My girlfriend lived there.
Yeah.
Last time I'd seen her was in Miami. She had gotten arrested for trying to pass some bad checks. And she got, a little bit of jail time, a little bit of probation. And she went back home to live with her parents in Tucson. Anyway, I met somebody there, a friend of mine, and we started doing armed robberies. And within about a little over 2 weeks, I get pulled over in the car and cops said that the car had been used in armed robberies and this and that. And they pulled me in, they put me in a lineup, and they arrested me.
Did you have a weapon in the car?
No, no, no. When I was all alone in the car, I wasn't like the dude whose car it wasn't with me.
Yeah.
You know, the pistol was at the girl's house, and he was there as well. Anyway, and so they take me into jail, right? And they say, "What's your name?" Right? I say, Stephen Terry Holzer, because somewhere along the line I had picked up they used to have driver's license and didn't even have your picture on them. This is back in the 70s.
Yeah.
Right. I had driver's license with Stephen Terry Holzer. And they put me in jail, and that's the name they booked me under. Right. And I'm facing 3 counts of armed robbery here, right? Well, I'm in the general population of the jail, right? And then one day, cops come to me and they say, "Hey, step out of the main, because we're in a tank with like 30, 40 guys. Step out." He stepped out, right? They take me over and put me in high power. Uh, the maximum security part of the jail.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, "What's going on?" I said, when the cop keeps coming by, I keep saying, "What's going on? Why'd they put me here?" He said, "I don't know. I'm not the one who put you here." I said, "Well, can you find out?" He said, "Yeah, I'll go see if I can find out real quick."
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sitting there. I got a cell partner, right? We're sitting there playing cards. And the cop come back and he said, "Mike Marino?" And I said, "Yeah."
Oh shit.
And he said, "Now you know why you're here?" I said, "Yeah." I went for the bait. I don't think it was, I mean, they knew who I was.
Even if you would have said, "Oh, I'm Steve," there's no
Yeah, I
way.
don't think that would have worked. Right. But I didn't. I mean, I reacted a normal way, I guess, when you hear a person calls your name. I said, "Yeah,
Yeah.
And that was it. And I ended up getting 15 to 20 years for the armed robberies, but it ran concurrent with my 30-year federal sentence. So really it didn't actually uh, create any more time for me to serve. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's still up to the parole board for
Oh yeah, yeah.
when
Well, before
you get out. I'm sure
yeah.
this
Well,
probably had a
before
little bit of effect on you.
and before I ever went to the parole board, I got more time. Uh, First thing I did was they sent me to Petersburg, Virginia, uh, which was a medium security federal prison. And there was a guy there named Tim Mosley. He had escaped from the prison in Ashland, Kentucky. He did it by breaking into the vocational training center, stealing a car and a truck. There's another guy with him, and they drove it through the fences, and he got away.
What's good, everybody? I hope you guys like that interview. Part 2 is going to drop tomorrow night. So stay tuned for that. I got a lot of good content on the way, a lot of surprise guests on the way. I've been doing a lot of things behind the scenes, and you guys are going to like it. If you guys like this content, hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can get my videos every time they drop. And if you don't like this content, start your own podcast. I appreciate all you guys. And remember, don't be a bitch.